Hey everybody, it's Greg from Park Journey. Hope you're all doing well. For those of you that saw our Magic Mountain update video from earlier this week, where we talked about the food festival and different things going on in the park, we kind of teased that I was going to be doing another video this week talking about these Giga rumors or Giga teases that Magic Mountain has been doing. So I thought I'd have some fun and recreate some gigas in Planet Coaster using Six Flags Magic Mountain, a pre-built Six Flags Magic Mountain park, and then have some fun with it. So I'm going to get right into it. I got three coasters to show you. I've got some POVs and off-ride, and then we're going to kind of talk about how I actually, my thought process of how I came about this, and some things that I think probably need to happen. If this is going to actually happen, which I still don't think it's going to happen, but who knows at this point. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. But before I do, make sure you click below to subscribe to our channel. As always, it is greatly appreciated. So as I mentioned, I found a park in the Planet Coaster Workshop. So shout out to @Faz Coasters on Twitter. I didn't even realize it was he's been following me for years. I didn't even realize it was his park. When I found it in the workshop, I just looked for the best Magic Mountain recreation that I found, and that was the best one. So I just used that as my basis. I will say, Fast Coaster's likes speakers in his park. There were a lot of speakers in the park everywhere. But basically, what I did is I created three gigas in different areas of the park where I think that if it does happen, these would probably be the most likely locations. Now, as I mentioned on Monday when I was talking about the video, that I was going to piss some people off with what I removed. So basically, my thought is, if Magic Mountain is going to build a giga, it's a huge investment. It is the biggest investment at that park since Tatsu, which was reportedly $21 million. If you look at Fury, that was reportedly $30 million. So you're talking at least a $25 million investment for Magic Mountain. It's a lot of money. Plus, you've also got terrain issues. You've got California earthquake code issues. So it's probably at least in that $30 million range that Fury was, maybe even more. So that basically means that you need to find funds from elsewhere. You need to have the money to do it and maintain it. But it also means that you need to look at what your current lineup is, and you need to make sure that you have the maintenance and the staffing capacity for something like that to justify that expense, because it's a huge expense, and you can't be running one or two trains all through the summer and having maintenance issues and things like that. You need to it needs to be up and running so people will come and pay to go to the park, and you can recoup your investment. So with that said, every single scenario that I have of these three Giga coasters, there are at least three coasters that are being removed from the park. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the easiest one, and that is removing Scream. It's not a maintenance nightmare. It's pretty basic coaster, but it's just a maintenance capacity, just trying to free up some space there. And I think that it's a great coaster. Don't get me wrong. I just think it would be a higher tier coaster at some other park, like maybe Six Flags St. Louis. It'd be a top tier coaster at that park. So I just think whether the coaster is in that area or not, I think that would probably be removed. And one of my Giga coasters is actually using the Scream station as the Giga coaster station. The second coaster that is getting removed is Superman Escape from Krypton. Maintenance nightmare, a lot of money to maintain, a lot of money to run, and it's a lot. And that also means removing Lex Luthor. But on the flip side, in my scenario, Sky Tower is also removed for a drop tower. So You'll see. And then one of my second coasters is using the Superman station as the Giga station, also with a station fly through for the second track of Superman. So you'll see when I get into the video. And then the third coaster that is getting removed in every single scenario. Don't hate me. I can feel the hate already because I don't like this ride, but that's not why. But in every scenario, X2 is getting removed from the park. Same reason as Superman. Maintenance nightmare. Costs a lot of money to keep up. Yes, ridership it's definitely way more popular than Superman. I get it. But the amount of money and time that is spent on keeping that one coaster open, it's ridiculous, and they would need that maintenance capacity in order to have a Giga. So and staffing capacity. So that is what it is. And then the third Giga is actually using the Viper station, which means in that scenario, not only is X2 getting removed, but Viper is getting removed as well. So I can feel the hate there as well. Each of the three designs uses an existing station in the park. Okay, so we'll get into all that. The other thing I did was I actually, just to kind of make it more in tune with what the park is now, each coaster is, so like the Giga that replaces Viper is named Viper, same color scheme, same train color scheme. The coaster that replaces Scream, called Scream, same color scheme as Scream. And then the coaster that replaces Superman, it's not Superman, getting rid of DC, outside of DC Universe, and it's just the Escape. So those are the three coasters that I recreated in Planet Coaster. All of them are green tier, green across the board. So if you played Planet Coaster, you know that when you test a ride, you have red, yellow, green, and the green is all the way across the board. So there was a fourth coaster that I had envisioned. I might still do it. I started a little bit. I couldn't kind of figure out the layout. I wasn't happy with it. But it was actually replacing Revolution and using the Revolution station, and also still taking out Superman and also taking out X2 and also taking out Scream, but keeping Viper. So that's the other thing. The Superman concept keeps Viper. The Scream concept also keeps Viper. So in the Viper scenario, there are 4 removed coasters: X2, Viper, Superman, and Scream. In the Scream scenario, it's removing Scream, obviously, using that station, and removing X2 and Superman. And then in the Superman scenario, it's removing Superman, obviously, X2, and Scream. Now, with Scream being gone, the other thing that I would do is you replace the trains on Riddler's Revenge with floorless trains. You get best of both worlds. You get another part gets Scream, and you get floorless trains on Riddler's Revenge, which, in my opinion, makes Riddler's Revenge an automatic top 5 coaster at that park. And it would be amazing. But anyway, that's a whole other video. All right, so let's get right into it, into the scenarios here. So here is the first one, using Viper's station. So you see here the trains exit from towards Roaring Rapids now. The left tail is over Roaring Rapids. And the coaster is going to go all the way, back towards Apocalypse. And then it kind of goes up and over Roaring Rapids a couple of times. And then over the station, and then kind of basically skirts that outside wall, outside barrier of the park where Magic Mountain Parkway goes up to the new houses. And then it's got a couple helixes in the spot where X2 was. So you still kind of get that the element of seeing a coaster as you are approaching the parking booths. You still kind of get that feeling of excitement seeing a coaster right there. So it does have a couple of helixes and things like that. Next up is the Scream scenario. So I did move the station a little bit from where Faz Coasters had his place. It just it didn't seem to line up quite right from where I wanted it, to be honest with you. And I also did for the Superman scenario, I did have to move Goliath because I looked at Google Maps and it was kind of off, so I kind of did move that as well. But I'll get into that in a second. And basically, this one is using where the Viper scenario used the side of the park, closest to Magic Mountain Parkway. This is kind of using the back section of the park there, kind of behind Batman and behind Riddlers. Now, it doesn't stretch all the way down towards Apocalypse and West Coast Racers like the Viper concept did. It kind of goes halfway. And it has more of twist and turn where Viper was more of an out and back type Giga. The Scream scenario is definitely more of a kind of twister concept, kind of going towards right where Riddler's is and then back around. Now, one thing I did kind of want to do is, in this one here is, you know how Scream has the interlocking corkscrews. So I did want to pay homage to that, so I did interlocking helixes at the end of it, so hopefully you'll enjoy this little part of it. And then the next scenario is using the station for Superman Escape from Krypton for your Giga. So automatically right off the bat, you're higher up. Your station is higher up than any of the other ones, and so that means you're just getting an insane amount of height on this coaster to make it a Giga, right? To get that drop over 300 feet. This one is exiting out of the left-hand Superman station as you are facing the ride. And basically the tunnel goes underneath Goliath, right there at the first little turnaround there, before you go up the lift hill on Goliath, and then looping around, kind of a little bit around Twisted Colossus, and then back. And then this second part of this one, it's really kind of a terrain Giga. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of different scenarios here with the different coasters. Where we had Viper kind of an out and back. The Scream one basically being more of a twister, and this one kind of using the terrain in that area between, where the Golden Bear Theater is right now and things like that as well. And then I wanted to use the second half of the Superman station, so the finale of the ride kind of dips down in between Goldbrusher, and using the second side of that station as kind of a little dip there, and then a turnaround that kind of interacts with the Full Throttle going through the courtyard there as well. So not only will you now have Full Throttle kind of going over that courtyard, you'll also have the Escape going over that courtyard. And then the last scenario, again, you're gonna kill me, RD. I can already feel the I can already feel it. Is using the Revolution station for a Giga. So again, this scenario, you're taking out X2, gone. Superman, gone. Scream, shipped off to another park. Riddler's Revenge, Floorless Trains, and now the classic Revolution, sadly, is gone. This is probably the least likely of the scenarios. I mean, they're all pretty unlikely, let me be honest. This is probably the least likely scenario. But this one starts with a turnaround. Unlike the other three, this one starts with a turnaround out of the station, up the hill over Tatsu. And then kind of around a little bit of the same area where the Escape was, the area between Full Throttle and Golden Bear Theater. This one goes right through the loop of Full Throttle, which I thought was, if I'm going to build a coaster kind of that goes over and back Full Throttle, I'm making it go through the loop. So I did that. And then just a finale, some twister elements in and around Tatsu, and utilizing some of the same terrain and tunnels that currently is in use by the Revolution. So this, just because I love Revolution, this is probably my least favorite of the four concepts. But I figured if I was going to go for broke, let's just go for it and have some fun with it. So those are my 4 scenarios. Let me know in the comments which ones you enjoyed the best, which one you think is the most likely, if any of them are. But really, kind of which coaster you actually enjoyed, looking at the most. I had some fun with this. Thanks again to Fast Coasters for building a pretty decent Magic Mountain recreation that I was able to use as my basis for this. And then, let me know. So again, I don't think that this is going to actually happen. And if it does, I can also kind of see some other coasters being removed. Maybe Apocalypse, just again, because you can't have 21 coasters with one of them being a Giga and having, you would need to, but not only do you need to pay $30 million for your coaster, but you have to beef up your staff, maintenance, and operations too. And that's a lot. So I think that if this ever does happen, some things are probably going to have to be removed. Maybe even something like Justice League, because let's be honest, it's not really as popular as we all had kind of hoped it would be. And I can't remember the last time I actually even saw it open. So, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed that fun. And I'll post the POVs and off-road footage of each coaster separately as well, just so you can check those out if you want to just see the full POVs there and the full off-road footage. All right, everybody, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.